Welcome everybody to Headlock Field on this beautiful Monday evening baseball game between the visiting Gorham Rams and your Portland Bulldogs. This is the start of the second half for Gorham. They are 4-4 on the season, coming off of a loss to Thornton Academy. 5-3. That ended their 3-game winning streak. And so they'll look to start the second half of the season off with a win. And we'll see which team shows up, the 3-win streak team or the team that also had a 3-game losing streak in the season. And so it's been an roller coaster ride for Gorham. But on the other side of the field is Portland. They are 1-8. Their last game was against Sanford. It was a loss 9-4. And Portland just got off to a slow start in that game and couldn't fight their way back. They made it close after scoring 2 in the bottom of the first, but allowed 3 in the top of the second, and then just couldn't fight their way back into the game. And so if they want any chance to make the playoffs, they're going to have to go on a win streak here down the stretch. It's one of those changes this season. Basically all school year, every sport cut down on the amount of playoff teams going back to pre-COVID. So Portland will have to get some wins on the board if they want any chance to make the playoffs. But we'll see who comes out on top between the Gorham Rams and the Portland Bulldogs. And we'll be back for the national anthem and starting lineups.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we would ask you to direct your attention to the American flag as we honor America and those who defend her with the playing of our national anthem.
Here we go for the start of this game. As Portland warms up, the starting batting order for Gorham. Leading things off is Quinn Dillon, CJ Whitehead, Mason Fink, Wyatt Nadeau, Jack Carlones, Cody Selleck, Brady Wintle, Malachi Scribner, and rounding things out is Miles Brainer. In the field for Portland, the outfielders are Temple, Buck, and Brewer. The infielders are Rasmus, Bebeau, Johnson, and Faye LeBlanc. Behind the plate is Milliken, and the starting pitcher for Portland is number 8, Ethan Terrio. So Quinn Dillon will step into the batter's box. First pitch is inside for ball 1. That's ripped up the middle for a leadoff single by Quinn Dillon.
Well, there you go. Definitely connected.
C.J. Whitehead.
C.J. Whitehead now up. The wind has died down from earlier. And that's going to hit Whitehead. So 2 aboard.
Well, and as we saw in the first game, a lot of hit batters in the first game, and a lot of hit batters who came around to score.
So Mason Fink now in the batter's box. It's a ball outside. 1-0 count. Swing and a miss. 1-1 count.
Runner at first not being held on at all.
And that's hit to Rasmus. He'll miss the tag. And everybody is safe.
Well, he was almost out of the baseline, but just scooted by the third baseman pretty quickly.
So that goes down as a fielder's choice for Mason Fink.
Number 23, Wyatt Neto.
So Wyatt Neto now up, no outs, base is loaded. Ball is outside.
Well, yeah, I would say fielder's choice, no error. I'm thinking that maybe if the third baseman tried to
Ball is in the dirt.
race the runner to third base, he may have got there first, but you don't know. So, I mean, he was in a position where he made the choice to try to tag him, and there's no wrong choice here because either way, the runner may have made it to third anyway.
And that's hit into left field. That's going to score Dillon. Bases are still loaded.
Another hard hit ball. First batter hit one hard. This batter hit one hard. Right through the infield.
Pitcher number 18, Jack Carlonis.
So Jack Carlonis at the plate. Whitehead at third, Fink at second, and Nadeau at first. No outs. Gorham up 1-0. That's going to be hit past Bebeau. And the bases are still loaded, so everyone moved over a base. It's now 2-0 Gorham.
You know, and this is small ball at its best. 90 feet, 90 feet, 90 feet. That's all you got to keep doing, and you'll start tacking on some runs.
Cody Selleck at the plate. Ball is down the middle for strike one.
Yeah, and that ball just made it by Bebeau. He did everything he could to try to get it.
In the dirt. It's a 1-1 count. In the dirt. 2 balls, 1 strike. That's hit foul. So it's a 2-2 count.
Loudly off the Delta Dental sign. No teeth were hurt in that foul ball.
Ball in the dirt. So it's a full count to Cody Selleck.
Well, it's a big pitch either way. It's either going to be a run or a strikeout.
Fouled it off.
Or a hit, but
It's hit into the infield. Rosmus couldn't get to it. It goes by him, and that's another run.
well, move him up 90 feet.
The center fielder, number 24, Brady Wintle.
And so Brady Wintle now up. That's hit foul. In there for strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. And strike 3. So the first out of the inning.
The right fielder, number 19, Malachi Scribner.
Malachi Scribner now at the plate. That's going to be hit foul down the first base line. Right down the middle for strike 2.
That was a beautiful pitch.
Outside. One ball, 2 strikes. And it's a swing and a miss. And there was someone on at first, so even if the ball is dropped, it doesn't need to be thrown down. So that brings up the bottom of the lineup, Miles Brenner. And that hit up the middle, and that's going to score 2.
And that wasn't even a hard hit ball, but it just found space.
So it's an early 5-0 lead for Gorham. And the top of the lineup is back up. And Quinn Dillon. It's fouled back.
Yeah, this is a deep hole for Portland right off. But we'll have to see what Portland can do in the bottom of the first.
And it's ripped up the middle. Selleck being sent, and it's runners will move up on the throw to the plate.
Well, and that's some heads-up base running right there.
So C.J. Whitehead now up. And Quinn Dillon is 2 for 2 on the day with 2 singles. C.J. Whitehead got hit by a pitch. And that one's hit into left. That's going to drop. That's going to score 1. And that's going to score 2.
Well, it's a hit parade early.
And we're going to get a mound visit from Portland. It's 8-0 so far for Gorham in the top of the first.
Yeah, just trying to settle the pitcher down. I know they've scored 8 runs. He's probably saying, yeah, they've scored 8 runs, but we still have 7 at-bats. We haven't even got our first yet, so.
The third baseman, number 3, Mason Fink.
So Mason Fink back up, reached on a fielder's choice. And that's hit into left, and that's going to be caught by Temple to end this inning. But Gorham puts 8 on the board to take a commanding lead. So after half an inning, it's Gorham 8, Portland coming up. Here we go for the bottom of the first as Gorham comes out to warm up. The starting batting order for Portland, leading things off, is Hunter Temple, Regan Buck, Henry Bebeau, Andrew Brewer, Liam Fay LeBlanc, Sam Payne is the DH, Lucas Milliken, Ethan Terrio, and Logan Rosmus rounding things out. In the field, the outfielders are Selleck, Wintle, and Scribner. The infielders are Fink, Brenner, Dillon, and Nadeau. Behind the plate is C.J. Whitehead, and the starting pitcher for Gorham is number 18, Jack Carlones. Here we go. Hunter Temple leading things off for Portland, right down the middle for strike 1. In there for strike 2.
Oh, jeez. And that's a tough one. You got to take it, but.
Up high for ball 1. 1-2 count. Outside for ball 2. Fouled back. It's popped up foul. Remains a 2-2 count. And that is a hit by pitch. So Hunter Temple gets to take first base. And if Portland wants to get back into this game, they're going to have to capitalize on things like that.
Yeah, every little thing at this point.
And there for ball. So it's a 1-0 count. That's ripped foul.
Well, let's see if he can time this next one. Straighten it out.
And swing and a miss for strike 2. Got him with the outside pitch.
Yeah, the pitcher was throwing that ball where he didn't have a chance at all.
And swing and a miss for strike 3. So 1 away for Henry Bebeau.
The shortstop, number 33, Henry Bebeau.
Outside for ball 1. Up high for ball 2. Right down the middle for strike 1. 2-1 count. Curves over the plate for strike 2.
Another beautiful pitch.
It's in the dirt. Temple will take second on the wild pitch.
Well, and at this point with an 8-0 lead by Gorham, Portland needs to start chipping away. And they'll take a run here or there, whatever they can get. And that certainly helps getting a runner in scoring position.
And that's a walk. So 2 on with 1 away. And Andrew Brewer coming up.
Well, and as we saw in the first game, this is the second game of a doubleheader. Walks and hit batters came back to haunt a team.
It's up high for ball 1. Drops over for strike 1. High for ball 2. Up high for ball 3. As Whitehead goes to Carlonis.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly have to be talking about, you got yourself a 8-run lead here. Let's just start making some smart pitches.
And that's ball 4. So bases are juiced now for Portland with 1 away. Liam Fay LeBlanc coming up. And we're going to have a mound visit.
And I'm sure this conversation is going to be a little bit different than the catcher going out there and talking to him.
And all the infield is going to meet in the huddle. See what comes of it. But this is a prime opportunity for Portland to get back into this game.
And umpires giving the coach a little bit more leeway time-wise to have that discussion. And everybody has to, so many people in the infield between Portland and Gorham, it took a little while for everyone to go back to where they were.
And that's outside for ball 1. It's on the inside part of the plate for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Drops in there for strike 2. In the dirt. Two and 2 count. That's fouled back. And that's hit into left field. That's going to score 1. So Liam Fay LeBlanc with an RBI single.
Well, there you go. There's the first little chip.
So Sam Payne now up. Only blemish for Portland so far is the strikeout of Buck. It's low for ball 1.
Yeah, and it was smart of the third base coach to hold up the runner there because you certainly don't want to make the second out at home.
Up high for ball 2. Up high for ball 3. We do have a pitcher going out to the visiting bullpen. Right down the middle for strike one. It's a 3-1 count.
And we'll have to see if he takes this one. I would think if it's down the middle, he's just going to drive it somewhere.
Up high for ball 4, and that's going to bring in another run. And
the catcher number 6, Lucas Milliken.
And I think we have a slight little stall tactic going on. I think they're going down to the bullpen to see when the pitcher can be really fast and really ready.
yeah, Quinn Dillon went to talk to Jack Carlones. Jet Wing just started to warm up. It's high and inside for ball 1 to Lucas Milliken. Touches the inside part of the plate for strike 1. That one's on the outside corner for strike 2. In the dirt. And so it's a 2-2 count. That's hit foul. Remains a 2-2 count. And that is low for ball 3. So a full count to Lucas Milliken.
Well, he wants a strike, and Milliken's got to protect the plate.
It's up high for ball 4. That's 3 on the board with bases loaded still for Portland.
And I think the hook is coming. I mean, this is the second visit.
And they did call to the bullpen, so that should be it for Jack Carlones. And it is, so we'll take a timeout as Jet Wing warms up. And we're back. So Jet Wing will get set to pitch. Ethan Terrio at the plate. It's a big spot for Ethan Terrio. Can get Portland within a couple of runs. Up high. High for ball 2. Right down the middle for strike 1. That's hit to Fink. Fink throws home. And the throw to first is offline. It's going to score 2. So a throwing error by C.J. Whitehead. And I think they're going to talk about
interference, maybe at first. That he was in the baseline and he couldn't get the ball. I think that's the only thing they could be discussing. Yes. Yes.
And so
I guess the coach for Gorham's going to lose that argument. I mean, it looked, the first baseman looked like he had a difficult time getting the ball.
And so 2 outs with Logan Rasmus. Up high for ball 1.
And the runner on first, with the ball being thrown around, did not go to second, which, could be a good thing because you don't want to get thrown out there either.
On the outside corner of the plate for strike 1. So 1-1 count. Portland has put 5 on the board so far, bringing this lead back to 3. Down low for ball 2. And over the head of Rasmus as he ducks. It's 3-1 count. And that's low for ball 4. So puts 2 on the board for Portland with the top of the lineup in Hunter Temple at the plate. Temple last time up was hit by a pitch and close to being hit by a pitch again.
I would have never believed that so far this first inning between the two teams they've scored 13 runs. And it still could keep going.
Down low for ball 2. Right down the middle for strike 1. That's popped up. It's going to be into left field, and it's caught by Cody Selleck, ending this first inning. But Portland puts 5 on the board. And so after 1 complete, it's Gorham 8, Portland 5. So Portland in the top of the second has a new pitcher, Lucas Milliken, relieving Ethan Terrio. And the new catcher is Jacob Johnson. And Ethan Terrio is at second. And at the plate is Wyatt Nadeau as he fouls it off. It's an 0-2 count. And safe to say this has been a weird game.
Oh, gosh. Well, you know, at the end of the first, the Gorham crowd that was pretty rowdy after the top of the first was pretty quiet at the end of the first.
And that's ripped up the middle into center field. So lead off single for Gorham. And that brings up Jack Carlones, who is the designated hitter. It's going to be a bunt. It's to Milliken. Milliken will fire over and get the out. Yeah, Jack Carlone started off as the pitcher, and under the rules, he can DH for himself, which creates the DH position. And so if he gets taken out off the field, he can still be the DH.
Is that the Ohtani rule?
Yes. And Cody Selleck now up. Yeah, it's been a strange day. We've seen probably the first time that, as it's a swing and a miss for strike one.
One's a wild. Oh, batter number 11 with 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out.
Yeah, it's probably the first time I've seen both starting pitchers get taken out after 1 inning.
Oh, you know, 13 runs will do that. Well, you know, plus we get into the second half of the season where every game is important too.
That's popped up. And let's see if it stays in. And it did. LeBlanc overran it. And there's a slight draft from right to left. As I can see the flags that are hanging on the outside of the ballpark. Only one is waving. Out in center field, as the ball is popped in the infield, Terrio underneath it will get the out. So Portland gets away from a potential disaster. Sometimes when you don't get those pop-ups and out of play, sometimes it comes back to haunt you.
Yes. It's number 8 at second.
And Johnson's catching.
Johnson's catching, and number 6 is pitching.
Brady Wintle now at the plate. It's a 1-1 count. Ball is in the dirt. It's a 2-1 count. And the steal. And he's thrown out. No. couldn't hold on to the ball. Rosmus, they had him picked off.
And I'm not quite sure if the coach was happy with that, because he was caught.
It's a 3-1 count. That's in there for strike 2. This would be a big out for Portland after they missed the pickoff attempt. And swing and a miss for strike 3. And so after allowing a leadoff single, Lucas Milliken comes back and gets a 1-2-3. And so after a goose egg in the top of the second, the score after 1.5 is Gorham 8, Portland 5. Here we go for the bottom of the second. Regan Buck leads things off for Portland. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters start things off. Buck struck out the last time as he watches the first pitch on the outside part of the plate. So it's an 0-1 count. It's way outside for ball 1.
Yeah, so Portland has 5 runs on 1 hit.
Ball in the dirt. It's a 2-1 count. Yeah, it's been a hit by pitch, a walk, 2 walks, or 4 walks, and an error. Swing and a miss for strike 2. The lone hit came from Liam Fay LeBlanc. And swing and a miss for strike 3. So Buck 0 for 2 now. Bringing up Henry Bebeau. Got walked the last time up. And it's that whole mantra, walks and hit by pitches and errors will come back to bite you. That's in there for strike 1. Up high for ball 1.
Just a bit high. Curved over nicely, though.
Down low for ball 2. Down low for ball 3. And the next couple hitters for Portland, you definitely don't want to leave the ball hanging over the plate like that, as Bebeau gets a 1-out single. Bringing up Andrew Brewer. Last time up, got walked. These are the batters that will make you pay. And that's ripped into center. That's going to drop. So back-to-back hits for Portland.
Well, in the box score, that's a line drive. But here, it's a bloop. That's all you need. And Seth, you're right about these hitters for Portland.
Liam Fay LeBlanc at the plate. 2 on. And a timeout by Fay LeBlanc as Jet took too long.
And he's got another chance to get a hit and drive in some more runs.
And that was fouled off. Wing playing some mind games with the runners on the bases, trying to change his tempo up. Swing and a miss. Strike 2.
He doesn't want to throw it on the inside because he will pull it in that open space between first and second.
Swing and a miss for strike 3.
And that was a pitch. He just couldn't connect on it.
So that brings up Sam Payne.
Designated hitter, number 21, Sam Payne.
Big spot for Portland. Can cut this lead even more. And that's fouled back.
Wow. And you're right, Seth, about the wind. The American flag is not blowing at all. I put a sweater on because it was cooling off a little bit. Now I think in between innings I'm going to have to take this sweater off. It's warmed right up again.
And Wing steps off. It's outside. Brewer with a large lead off of first.
Well, he's not being held on. You know, if they're going to let you have a few extra steps, you might as well take them in case that ball's hitting the outfield.
Swing and a miss for strike 2.
Yeah, the pitcher for Gorham, he is definitely battling back.
One-two pitch is dropped in there for strike 3. And so Wing strands 2 on the bases. And so first scoreless inning so far in this game. And so after 2 complete, the score remains Gorham 8, Portland 5. Here we go for the top of the 3rd. Leading things off is Malachi Scribner. That's fouled off. It's a 0-1 count. High for ball 1. 1-1 count. Rip foul down the first baseline. 1-2 count. 2-2 count. And that's hit into right, and Regan Buck sprints in to get the out. So that brings up Miles Brenner.
Miles Brenner.
Well, and that's exactly what Portland needs at this point with the balls being hit hard. They got to be hit at somebody.
Drops on the outside corner of the plate for strike one. Last time up, Brenner hit a single, so that ball's in the dirt. 1-1 count.
Yep. Number one batter's up with a ball, a strike, and one out.
And that's hit into left. Temple will get underneath it for the second out. So 2 away for the top of the lineup. Quinn Dillon at the plate.
The second baseman, number 6, Quinn Dillon.
The outside corner of the plate for strike one. And so far, both teams have settled into this game.
Which is crazy. 13 runs in the first inning between the two. No runs between the two in the second. And so far, a goose egg in the top of the third.
It's a 1-1 count. That one hits the outside corner of the plate for strike two. Up high. It's a 2-2 count. And that's hit foul. That's hit into right. That's going to fall. Brewer will race to it. He's going to throw it in. And that's a stand-up double by Quinn Dillon. Bringing up C.J. Whitehead. Gorham has a chance to get some of these runs back that they let up in the bottom of the first.
And that was a nice hit.
That's ripped into left. That's going to be off the wall. That's going to score a run. That's going to be a double.
And that was high up off the wall.
Yeah, and in a regular high school field, that's a home run. But at Headlock, it's just a double. So Mason Fink up now. Fouled off the first pitch. It's 0-1 count. Up high.
Well, all with two outs.
That's fouled off. So 1-2 count. Up high for ball 2. And that's hit foul. Lucky for Portland, unlucky for Gorham. Remains a 2-2 count.
Whew.
And runs Fink off the plate. So it's full count, 2 outs. Whitehead on second. That's hit foul. Three-two pitch is hit into left and caught by Hunter Temple to end the inning. And so Gorham puts one more on the board. So the new score after 2.5 is Gorham 9, Portland 5. Here we go for the bottom of the third. Lucas Milliken leading things off. Ball's up high. 1-0 count. In there for strike one. That's popped up in the infield. Nadeau calling everybody off to get the first out.
Nice, easy catch.
So one away for Ethan Terrio.
The second baseman, number 8, Ethan Terrio.
It's up high for ball 1. Swing and a miss for strike 1. 1-1 count. Foul tipped. It's a 1-2 count. And that one's foul tipped into the glove, so that's strike 3. So 2 away for Logan Rasmus.
Well, and that's for the catcher to hold on to that. A lot of times that'll hit off the side of a glove or whatever. So good concentration twice in that at bat.
And that's hit into left. That's going to one hop to Selleck. And so a 2-out single by Logan Rasmus, bringing up Hunter Temple is 0 for 1, getting hit by a pitch and flying out to left field. Swing and a miss for strike 1. In the dirt, way outside for ball 1. And that's hit to Fink. Fink will fire over and get the third out. And so Portland will strand 1 in the bottom of the third. So after 3 complete, it's Gorham 9, Portland 5. Here we go for the top of the fourth. Leading things off is Wyatt Nadeau, is 2 for 2 with 2 singles. The ball's outside for ball 1. Couldn't quite curve over. It's going to be ball 2. That's hit into foul territory, and a nice play by Liam Fay LeBlanc.
Terrific catch in foul territory by Liam Fay LeBlanc.
Yeah, I caught most of that, but as you saw, he kind of went a little bit behind the fence over there, but what a catch.
So Jack Carlonis comes up with 1 out. That's fouled back.
And, you know, a catch like that, you know, pumps your team up, inspires your team. You know, let's see what happens after that, because that really helps your pitcher out immensely.
And that couldn't quite curve over, so it's a 1-1 count. And he did go. And that's hit to Rosmus. He'll fire over, and it pulls LeBlanc off the bag. So that's going to be an error on Logan Rosmus. Oh, it's a...
The official scorer called it a hit. I think the official scorer was probably figuring he was going to make it there anyway.
And it's a steal by Carlonis.
Well, Gorham with something going again.
Up high for ball 2. Foul tipped into the glove. It's a 2-1 count. Swing and a miss for strike 2. And that's hit into center. Regan Buck has to go back, and it's way over his head. That's going to score 1. It's going to be a triple. By Cody Selleck, who is now 2 for 3 with a single in this triple.
The center fielder, number 24, Brady Wintle.
Brady Wintle now up, is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts.
Well, a real couple of hard hit balls this game for Gorham.
It's fouled back.
And with 1 out, they have a chance to score another.
So Gorham has gotten 2 of the 5 runs back. Up high for ball 2. That's hit to Bebeau. Bebeau fires, and it's over the head of Faye LeBlanc. That's going to score another. So a throwing error on Henry Bebeau. So Gorham now has 2 on the board, making it 11 runs in total. And Malachi Scribner now up, is 0 for 2. Ball drops on the outside part of the plate for strike 1.
Well, with the exception of that one, the second inning, Gorham is back at it again, scoring runs.
Outside for ball 1. That's popped up in the infield. And it's in and out of the glove of Jacob Johnson. And like I said, there's a little bit of a breeze on the infield. And
I mean, that was a moonshot.
The shortstop, number 1, Miles Brenner.
so Miles Brenner now up, is 1 of 2 with a single and a fly out to left field, as there's going to be a mound visit.
Yeah, this has been a tough inning here, and you know they're just going to have a little discussion with the pitcher just to kind of figure things out a little bit. You know, it's an error, it's a pop-up that was a difficult play for the catcher. You know, when you have to spin around, when you're used to looking in one direction, then spinning around, looking in a different direction, and trying to find that ball, it's tough. And so they can't let what's happening, the pitcher can't let what's happening affect him, so he's just got to go after the batter.
Brenner will hit it to Terrio. He's just going to have to get the 1. That moves both runners over.
But that's okay. That's the second out. The batter did his job. He moved the two runners over. But second baseman also did his job. He got the one out. So good baseball playing all around on that one.
So that brings up Quinn Dillon is 3 for 3, 2 singles and a double as that pitch is over the plate for strike one.
Well, and that puts it even into more perspective. He's 3 for 3, and if he can connect again, he could cause some more damage.
Side for ball one. On the outside part of the plate for strike two. Pie for ball two. And that's hit into center. Regan Buck can't get to it. That's going to score two. And that's going to be a triple for Quinn Dillon.
Yeah, and Buck did everything he could out there to try to get that ball. It just drifted away from him.
Yeah, there's a... So CJ Whitehead now up is 2 for 2. A single, a double, and a hit by pitch. And that's launched into center. Regan Buck will catch it. No, he didn't catch it. So that's a triple. So,
well, and I'm sure these Gorham players are like, we love playing at Hadlock Field, but how many home runs didn't we not get tonight? That possibly could have been over fences.
And so Gorham able to get all the runs back plus one. One run away from triggering a 10-run rule. And Mason Fink now up is 0 for 3.
I mean, this Gorham team has put a charge into that baseball tonight.
And therefore, strike one. Two and one count, 2 outs. It's inside for ball three. Swing and a miss. Creates a full count.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a late swing. I think he was a little fooled on it. He really wanted that pitch, though.
Up high for ball four. So that brings back the person that started the inning. And Wyatt Nadeau is 2 for 3. Ball one.
And I think we have a pitcher in the Portland bullpen warming up.
And a check on Fink. It's a pop-up, and that's going to end the inning.
And that was a tough one for Portland.
But Gorham puts up 5 more on the board to regain their lead that they got in the top of the first. It's after 3.5 innings. It's Gorham 14, Portland 5. Here we go for the bottom of the fourth. Regan Buck leading things off is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts fouled back. And that's hit into left. So that brings up Henry Babeau. Is 1 for 1 with a walk and a single.
Well, it's a good comeback here. Good start here in the bottom of the fourth.
In the dirt for ball 1.
Nice stop.
Outside for ball 2. 2-0 count. It's on the inside part of the plate for strike 1. And that's strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. And that's into right field. Buck having to hold up. Wasn't sure if Quinn Dillon was able to catch that or not.
Well, and there was no worries if the ball had dropped in of him not making it to second safely. So good heads-up play. You're right. He did have to wait.
So that brings up Andrew Brewer. 1 for 1 with a walk and a single. Down low for ball 1.
Portland trying to get back to chipping away at that lead.
Fouled. It's a 1-1 count. And Wing steps off.
Yeah, Wing is trying to set a pace here to confuse Portland a little bit.
That
Ooh,
didn't quite hit the strike zone, so it's 2-1 count.
Yeah, I think you're right, Don. I think that pitch did fool the umpire.
And that gets by. And it took a high bounce off the bricks behind home plate.
That took a while to come back down to the catcher. And you could hear the Gorham players saying, no, 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 no. Because they didn't want him turning around and firing that ball down to third base. The player for Portland was already there.
Three and one pitch is hit to Dylan. That's going to score a run. So Portland gets one back.
And you talk about a manufactured run. That was one right there. And you know, a wild pitch just caused a run to come back.
So Liam Fay LeBlanc is now up. Is one of two with a single and a strikeout as he fouls that one back.
So Portland gets one back now. It's Gorham 14, Portland 6, so it's only an 8-run lead.
If Portland wants any chance in this game, they got to keep the scoring to nothing the rest of the game for Gorham.
Yeah, they at this point they got to definitely keep Gorham from scoring any more points.
That's hit to Nadeau. He'll touch first, and that's going to score another run.
So a very good productive out by Fay LeBlanc.
So 2 outs. Bases are empty for Sam Payne. High for ball one. Swing and a miss for strike one.
Yeah, and Don pointing out that Gorham's leading Portland in spring football, 14-7.
On the outside corner of the plate for strike two, 1-2 count. Well, and a lot of these players do play football. That's hit foul.
Yeah, so they're used to seeing a score 14-7. Just usually under more chilly circumstances.
Fouled back.
Although, you know, here in Maine, it could still get to be very cold in the middle of May, so I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
That's hit to Dylan. Dylan will field it, throw over to first, and get the third out. And so Portland puts 2 back on the board, but still trail by 7. So after 4 complete, it's Gorham 14, Portland 7. And here we go for the top of the fifth. Leading things off is Jack Carlonis. In there for strike one. It's fouled back. 0-2 count. And we have some changes in the field. Relief pitcher is Joe Mancini. Lucas Milliken moves over to third. So it's the third pitcher of the game for Portland. Up high. 2-2 count. High for ball three. Like I said, for Portland, you're walking the fine line between the 10-run rule and staying in this ball game. And a leadoff walk is not going to help your case.
The left fielder, number 11, Cody Selleck.
Yeah, definitely not a good way to start.
So that brings up Cody Selleck. Ball in the dirt.
Nice stop by the catcher.
In there for strike one. Outside for ball two. In the dirt. That was well short of the plate.
Another good stop by the catcher. Thing about that, though, is you do have a chest protector and you do have shin pads there, but you still have open arms and parts of your open legs.
And that's going to be ball four, so 2 walks in a row.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Seth, you know, they're 3 runs away from the 10-run rule, and it's the 5th inning now, and you know, this is not a good way to start here for Portland. They really need to buckle down, get some outs.
So Brady Wintle now up. It's on the top part of the strike zone for strike one. It's fouled back. 0-2 count.
Yeah, fought that one off. That was going to be probably a strike no matter what, so you might as well swing at it. Fought it off into the net.
Up high. It's a 1-2 count. Another pitch high and inside for ball two. Ball up high. It's a full count now.
Need a perfect pitch, and the batter needs to protect the plate.
It's up high. And so the bases are walked, loaded. So that brings up a pinch hitter.
We're going to have a pitching change. Just like that. Center field is coming in. No? Yes. Is that Regan Buck?
Yeah, and so we'll bring you all the changes in a moment. And we're back. It's Regan Buck now pitching, fourth pitcher for Portland, as he throws to Isaac Young a strike, swing and a miss. And Joe Mancini is now the new center fielder. And that's hit into the middle of the field. It looked weird off the bat.
It did. It looked like it was going to go further than that. And heads-up play by the runner on second base to realize where the ball was.
So Bobo gets the first out. Bringing up Miles Brenner in there for strike one.
Well, and Gorham here with a golden opportunity to tack on some more runs.
And Terrio will grab it, throw it to first, and get the second out. But it's another run for Gorham, bringing the hottest hitter on the planet right now, Quinn Dillon. 4 for 4 with 2 singles, a double, and a triple.
So basically he needs a home run for the cycle.
In the dirt, 1-1 count.
Well, let's see. Where could he hit it and get a home run?
It would have to be to the deepest part of the ballpark at that 40 sign.
Well, I think you're right. If he hits a dead center over the center fielder's head, he could possibly round the bases. I mean, that's not what I'm advocating for, but if he was to go for the cycle, that's the place to go for it.
But it looks like Buck is pitching around him, not wanting to leave a ball over the plate. And it's hit foul. So full count, 2 outs. Selleck on at third, Wintle on at second. Dillon has a chance to put this into a 10-run roll. And it's hit to Bobo. Bobo will fire over and gets the out. So that ends the inning.
Wow, and Gorham put on a big threat there, too.
So Gorham does add one more run, and so after 4.5 complete, it's Gorham 15, Portland 7. Here we go for the bottom of the 5th as I write down all of these changes in the field. And Lucas Milliken at the plate. It's ball 1. 1-0 count. It's fouled. And so, new pitcher, third pitcher of the game, as that ball is low, is Miles Brenner. Wyatt Nadeau is now at third. Mason Fink is at shortstop. Jack Carlones is at first. And Isaac Young is the new right fielder. It's a 2-2 count to Lucas Milliken. And to note, Miles Brenner is only a freshman, as that's hit to Dylan. Dylan will fire over to first for the first out.
Well, and that's pretty good. You're a freshman and you make the varsity team. That's 4 years ahead of you.
And there for strike one to Ethan Terrio. Yeah, anytime a team can find young players that are already good enough to make varsity, it helps out the team in the future as well. It's hit foul. It's a 1-2 count.
Yeah, I mean, the experience that goes along with it. Ooh.
And that did hit Terrio, so he gets a free base.
The center fielder, number 17, Joe Mancini.
And so Joe Mancini now up. In there for strike one. Up high. 1-1 count. That's hit foul. So 1-2 count. And to note, Gorham only has 6 seniors. And so
And that's pretty good. You know, when you're not graduating a majority of your team.
up high for ball 2.
You know, as we saw, which soccer team was it for?
It was the Portland High soccer team graduated 19 seniors.
That is tough. I mean, that's not to say that they don't have quality players coming up behind them, but that's a lot all at one time. Compared to only 6, you know, and as we know, there's a certain, you know, talk show that says don't cross sports, but we're just doing a reference as to seniors. You know, 19 on one and 6 on the other that's a big difference.
And Portland has 9 seniors.
And that's really still not too bad.
So Hunter Temple now at the plate with 2 outs. Runner on at first. And that's hit into left. So that puts 2 on.
Nice hit. You know, Portland, even though they're down by 8, You just have this strange feeling that just not going to go away.
Number 5, Regan Buck.
I mean, they just can't close the gap, but, they're not going quietly. And that's a sign of a good thread there.
Swing and a miss for strike one to Regan Buck. Swing and a miss for strike two.
Wow.
And that pitch disappeared for Regan Buck.
I guess. Wow.
Brenner one strike away. And that's fouled off by Buck. And just add that to the list of Miles Brenner's list of things as a freshman to watch out for. Is if he can make that disappearing pitch more consistent.
By the time he's a senior, he will be super tough to beat.
That's popped up into shallow right, and it was miscommunication. That's going to score Terrio.
Yeah, you kind of don't want to see that happen.
It was an error on the second baseman. No, it was an error on the right fielder. Yeah, and as an outfielder, you need to know that you have priority over the ball.
Yeah, he needs to be screaming, I got it, I got it.
And a steal.
Because not only that could happen, the ball could, drop in, but, you could potentially run into each other and get injured. So the communication part first is not to get hurt. Second is to catch the ball.
So Henry Bobo at the plate with a 1-0 count. It's a 2-0 count. In there for strike one on the inside corner.
And Portland with another golden opportunity here. Bobo can just hit it someplace. Potential for 2 more runs to come in.
And that's hit in between short and third. The throw to home is not in time. It goes by Whitehead. So a bases clearing single for Bobo and moves to second on the throw.
Well, and Portland's got it back down to only 5 runs.
Number 27, Andrew Brewer.
The team that just will not go away. They had taken advantage of everything here in this game.
And Andrew Brewer now up. Fouls it off.
Yeah, a little bit of tough luck here with 2 outs for Gorham and the pitcher.
That's hit into right field. Bebeau will come around and scores, standing up. The lead now down to 4.
Wow. It's only the bottom of the 5th. At this rate, we could have a 3-hour ball game.
So Liam Fay LeBlanc now up.
Because we're on the other side of 2 right now.
And that's going to be hit up the middle. So that's... And this goes back to my point in the opener that Portland hurts themselves when they get off to a slow start because they definitely have the offense to put up runs. It just is really hard to win games when you let up 8 in the top of the first.
Yeah, they definitely dug themselves a hole they're trying to get out of. And, you know, they've cut that down to 4. What a crazy game.
As there is a mound visit.
Well, and another run here in scoring position. A lot has happened with 2 outs.
And it all started with that hit by pitch on Ethan Terrio. And once again, when you hit that's down the third baseline foul. But you hit a batter, it's going to come back to haunt you. And from there, Portland's put 4 on the board in the bottom of the 5th. And a throw down to second. Brewer with a large lead. Over the plate for strike 2. And double steal, and it was dropped, but there was a player occupying first, and so that ends the inning. But Portland puts 4 more on the board to get this within 4, making it a ball game again. And so after 5 complete, it's Gorham 15, Portland 11. Here we go for the top of the 6th. Leading things off is C.J. Whitehead. Swing and a miss for strike 1. That's hit into center. And that's going to be picked up by Mancini.
All right, now we got Gorham trying to get some of those runs back.
The third baseman, number 3, Mason Fifth.
Check on Whitehead. At the plate is Mason Fink. See if he can continue the start. Whitehead takes off. The throw is wide. It's going to be in center. Man, it was hard enough where Mancini got to it, so no more advancement.
Well, and just like that, Gorham with a chance to get a run back.
It's ball. It's a 2-0 count. That's hit into left. And that's going to be by Temple. That's going to score a run. So that's one back on the board.
And the official score gives that a hit.
Yeah, it didn't quite touch Temple's glove. Sometimes those line drives, it's tough to judge where the ball is going to come to you at. The ball is over the head of Wyatt Nadeau for ball 1. Sometimes the ball knuckles in the air, and it's tough to judge. Check on Fink at second. That's hit into center, and it's caught by Mancini for the first out. Bringing up Jack Carlones. That's off the end of the bat to Bebeau. Fires over and gets him. You could definitely hear the sound coming off the end of the bat. It's that I don't know how to explain it. It's
like a dull thud.
yeah. So 2-away for Cody Selleck. Ball's outside for ball 1. And especially with these metal bats, sometimes it doesn't feel great on your hands. As the ball is hit, it's over the glove of Milliken. It's going to put runners on the corners. And once again, that hits the edge of the grass and bounces up.
Well, and I have to tell you, having played baseball with wooden bats, that's when it really hurts off the end of a bat.
It's a steal. Throw is down, and a heads-up play by Fink to get for the run. And not sure what the discussion is. But Selleck takes second. First pitch to Brady Wintle was a ball. Pie for ball 2.
Well, and now Gorham's got 2 of those runs back up by 6. Portland, they've been playing really well, but they got it within 4 this time.
In there for strike 1.
They just can't seem to get it any closer than that. They got 11 runs, and they're still down by 6.
And that's going to be hit into right. And Andrew Brewer there to get the third out. And Gorham puts 2 on the board. And so after 5.5 complete, it's Gorham 17, Portland 11. Here we go for the bottom of the 6th. Lucas Milliken leading things off.
And we're trying to figure out if there are any changes for Gorham defensively.
Ball is over the outside part of the plate for strike 1. And that's up the middle. So a leadoff single by Lucas Milliken.
And we got a pinch hitter.
It's number 9.
Pinch hitter, Don, number 9.
Nathan Milliken.
Your attention, batting for Terrio, number 9, Nate Milliken.
Ball is outside. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, that was a late swing.
One and one count. In the dirt for ball 2. Fouled back. Two and two count. And it's strike 3. So one away for Joe Mancini at the plate.
The center fielder, number 17, Joe Mancini.
Up high, ball 1. That's rocketed foul. Fouled back. It's a 1 and 2 count. That's hit to Fink, and that's by him. And that's going to be called an error.
Yeah, probably just took his eyes off the ball for a split second to see where the runner was heading towards second, to kind of see if he could throw it to second or throw it over to first. And that split second, taking your eye off the ball.
And that's launched in the air by Hunter Temple. It's going to be caught by Cody Selleck. So 2 away for Regan Buck. And I'll mention right now that both teams, as it's a foul tip, have even runs to hits.
Oh, true. Yes. And what is that? Oh, and errors. 17 runs, 17 hits, and 2 errors for Gorham. 11 runs, 11 hits, and 2 errors for Portland. It's amazing.
And this game is pushing 2.5 hours, so you just find a little bit of enjoyment here and there.
And from the other side of the wall, they said, not 2.5 hours, 2.5 weeks. It certainly feels that way. And we still have another inning to go. Well, the rest of this half inning and one more complete inning to go. So it could be 2.5 weeks.
And this is part of a doubleheader. This is the second game. Both of these games are makeups from a previous date because of rain. It's hard to schedule when the Sea Dogs are in town, and so they couldn't play at all last week. So Monday was the day that they could play this game.
Well, and
Double steal, and no, it was a full count, sorry.
well, and you talk about rainouts. It was a nice day today, but it was raining runs in the first game, and it's definitely raining a lot of runs in the second game.
So bases are loaded with Henry Bobo up.
Just the person you want. And all of this is happening again with 2 outs.
Especially the...
Oh, we're going to have a...
We're going to have a pitching change.
No, I'm not quite sure what's going on. Are they...
Can't be a pitching change. It's going to be... I think he was making sure that this was the first mound visit.
Oh, for this pitcher.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a smart move by the coach, because if you're not sure and you cross that white line, the pitcher's got to come out if you've already been out there.
And he's already thrown to this batter, so I'm not sure if they would get penalized for it.
I mean, this pitcher really has to be careful with Bobo, because if he connects with it,
and that just misses the strike zone.
And you can hear a few fans saying, oh, come on. But I think it was just a little bit high.
That was low, so it's a 2-1 count. That drops over.
And that's where they wanted that last pitch. And that's a beautiful pitch. Now Babo's definitely got to protect that plate. He cannot take another pitch like that.
It's a 2-2 count. It's hit. It's picked up by Nadeau and throws the second for the third out, stranding the bases loaded. And a prime opportunity for Portland to get runs back, and comes up with nothing. And so after 6 complete, it's Gorham 17, Portland 11. Here we go for the top of the 7th. Isaac Young leading things off. Ball in the dirt. It's a 1-0 count. It's ball 2. Ball 3.
Well, this is it's got to be real careful here. This is not how you want to start the top of the 7th off.
And it's 4 straight pitches for a walk. That brings up Miles Brenner.
The pitcher number 1, Miles Brenner.
In there for strike 1. Young is checked on, just back in enough time.
Whew, that was close.
Young is checked on again. Throw over was a little high. And a steal. The throw down is not in time, so Young with a stolen base. It's a 1-1 count to Brenner. Fouled. And it's in there for strike 3. So 1 away in the top of the 7th. And that brings up Quinn Dillon.
Baseman number 6, Quinn Dillon.
Down low for ball 1. In there for strike 1.
And that was a pitch he needed to throw right there. That was a beautiful pitch.
So it's a 1-1 count. And that's hit to Bebeau. Bebeau will fire over. And a great stretch by Faye LeBlanc to get the second out.
Well, and it looked like even if he was pulled off just a smidgen, he knew exactly where that base was to go back. So great play over there at first. Just what you need. Back up your teammates right there.
So C.J. Whitehead now bats with 2 outs. And it's by Johnson moving over the runner. So Young now 90 feet away from scoring. And if you're Regan Buck, you can't pay attention to the runner at third. Just about getting the last out. It's on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. It's a 1-1 count. Up high for ball 2. That's popped up. It's going to be foul. So it's a 2-2 count, 2 outs. Isaac Young at third. And that's hit to Bebeau. Bebeau will fire over, and that throw is right on line for the third out. And so that's a clean inning for Portland.
And that's only the second one that Gorham's had.
And so after 6.5 complete, it's Gorham 17, Portland 11.
And finally you can say,
And the bottom of the 7th is here. 3 more outs for Portland to work with. And it's Andrew Brewer leading things off. Ball is in the dirt. It's a 1-0 count.
2 hours and 40 minutes since the start of this ball game. We are now in the bottom of the 7th.
And that's launched into right. Caught by Isaac Young for the first out. Portland down to 2 outs to work with.
Yep, a loud out. He got all of that, but it was right at the right fielder.
It's up high for ball 1. It's Liam Faye LeBlanc at the plate. Swing and a miss. It's ball 2. That's hit into shallow left. That's going to be caught by Cody Selleck for the second out. And that's going to bring up...
The designated hitter, number 21.
Nope. Nope.
It's
Number 22.
Joseph Miller.
Correction, batting for Payne. Number 22, Joey Miller.
It's in there for... Or it's a ball, sorry. Swing and a miss for strike one. It's a 1-1 count. It's in the dirt. And it's too wild. Yeah. And that's a ball.
Oh. We have a postage stamp home plate.
And ball. So the crowd is cheering for Joe Miller. So Lucas Milliken now up with Joe Miller on at first. It's outside for ball one. And that's going to be hit, and it's through. So 2 base runners on for Portland.
With 2 outs.
So that's going to bring up Nathan Milliken. And there's a time. We're going to have a pinch hitter. And we are.
Number 8.
And so Ethan Terrio. It's fouled back. It's in there for strike 2. So Portland now down to 1 strike to work with. And Miller will get a steal. And he said he swung. And that's the 3rd out.
And what a ball game. What a ball game. You know, and unfortunately for Portland, they got into a deep hole on the top of the first inning, giving up 8 runs because they had a relatively halfway decent game the rest of the way. I mean, they lose this one by 6. And so that first inning really made it pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, no pun intended, but they put themselves behind the 8 ball.
There you go, with 8 runs. Oh, I get it.
But this is what I said in the beginning of this game, is that Portland is a great team. They just can't put themselves in a hole. And that's essentially, it's hard to come back from when you constantly keep on allowing teams to score this many runs in the first inning. As you can see, this Portland offense can hit. I mean, they had 12 hits and got 11 runs. So it's not like this was a blowout by any stretch, but it's tough when you allow 8 in the top of the first and 5 in the top of the fourth. And that's essentially the reason why they lost this game. But unofficial time of this game is 2 hours and 45 minutes. So it's a long game.
I think it's been the longest that I've been filming baseball games. This has to be the longest baseball game I have ever filmed, high school baseball game. That hasn't gone in. That hasn't gone into extra innings. I mean, this was a regular 7-inning ball game.
And if you're for Gorham, I mean, just keep on doing what you're doing. They had some very loud hits that were extra bases. They had a lot of triples in this game, a lot of doubles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed. They have some bats on this team that when they get a hold of the ball, wow, unbelievable. And it was, we get to see Portland like every game. We only get to see visiting teams once. And, so far this season, I mean, this Gorham team looks like it's got some big bats. And, in the playoffs, that'll take you a long way.
And on the side of Portland, they're going to have to go back to the drawing boards and figure out pitching. That was their biggest downfall in this game. It's not just on one pitcher, it was on all of them. They gave up at least 1 run in all but 2 innings. And that's a recipe of losing. They're going to have to figure out ways to get more clean innings because 11 runs was just not enough for Portland as they let up 17.
And you would think if you score 11 runs, you should win. But, and some of that stuff is walks, hit batters, just the fundamental stuff that will come back to haunt you. So
the final score in this one is 17-11 Gorham over Portland. Saying so long. This has been a production of WPPS TV3 Portland Public Schools. Saying good night.
Thank you very much for watching. I need a nap.